you may not need to be the most excited people in your own state, because let me crank up the bandwagon here. So, Ari, you know this. I've been driving the Avery Johnson bandwagon for a long time at this point. I am extremely excited about Avery Johnson taking over as the quarterback for the Kansas State Wildcats. I think he can be magnificent if his ceiling is what we think it is.
Yeah. Yeah,
This is a team that should win the Big 12 if all goes well for them. This is a team that should make the playoff if all goes well for them. The question is he the guy? Is he what I think he is, or am I just projecting too much?
He is. And we know that because K-State allowed the worst quarterback to walk, who could then become the starting quarterback at Ohio State.
Might win a national championship at Ohio State. Yes, well,
think about that. We just talked about how crazy it is in a world where the floor for Kansas football is 6 wins. How about a world in which the second quarterback at K-State transfers to Ohio State? Not the better one, the second one. That's it. So, like, there's a level of credibility here with Chris Klieman. Aside from the COVID year, this guy's been a winner at K-State at this level. There should be no question marks about his ability. And so when he's evaluating his players, and his evaluation is Avery Johnson is a better player with a higher ceiling, like, I'm forced to believe him that, losing Will Howard was the right move here. So he is that good. I mean, we saw him against Texas Tech have like 6 rushing touchdowns in a game. And here's the surprise thing. Most of these teams, in fact, you probably count, I'm not even sure if any of these teams do not have the same offensive coordinator from last year. Most of the teams in the Big 12 have a brand new offensive coordinator. Kansas State's no different. Brand new offensive coordinator.
I love Matt Wells working with Avery Johnson, by the way.
Yes.
Love the idea of Matt Wells working with Avery Johnson.
Former Texas Tech head coach. Matt Wells, now the quarterback's coach. And so the thing that surprised me when I talked to Colin Klein, former offensive coordinator, when I talked to Chris Klieman this offseason, was that they wanted to design a offense that had a lot more opportunities to throw the ball down the field. Which is like interesting, because Will Howard was pretty good at that. He's got a big arm, big body. Like, he would stand in the pocket and deliver the ball down the field. So, and then we saw Avery Johnson get involved with his legs. So it's interesting to kind of be like, yeah, we want to bring in an offensive coordinator that would help design an offense that could leverage his arm. So that is a scary proposition to me. They've got, Keegan Johnson and Jace Brown down the field. They've got a great offensive line. They do lose some guys. And Cooper Beebe, who's one of the best offensive linemen in the Big 12. But again, there's a credibility factor here with Chris Klieman. And like, it's funny, Andy, like, look at this program. What else do they have to do? When you go back and look at Bill Snyder and the decades that he had and the success that they had, and then handing it over to Chris Klieman, you talk about sustained excellence and success. Like, what do they have to do to get named to some of the other top programs in the country? As hard for me as that is to say as a Kansas alum, like, it's ridiculous how much winning they've done over the last 2 decades. The only time they didn't win is when Snyder retired the first time.
Exactly. The Ron Prince era is the only one you're not thinking about. But all right, my ceiling for them is not just win the Big 12 and make the playoff. It is advance in the playoff if they get there. I think they, if all goes well, if Avery Johnson is as good as we think he might be, I think that's the ceiling. I think the floor for this team is 8-4, maybe 9-3.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. This is a team that can not only get to the playoff, but can advance. So we talked about their offensive line. They've had, like, think about in this era to have 3 or 4 offensive linemen that stay for 3 to 4 years. And then once new guys, once old guys go through, new guys come in that have been there in the program. They've got offensive linemen ready to take over that have been there for 3 or 4 years. That just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, they develop well and understand how to develop well. So yeah, I think they should be very excited. The expectations should be rightfully high. You had a 5-star in your own backyard. You kept him. Now's the time to make all that turn into championships. So we'll see if they can do it.
And I think their ceiling is very low, like very high. I mean, your 8-9 wins is their sorry, their floor.
Oh, their floor. Yeah, their floor is super high. They're probably the highest floor in the conference.
Yep.
There's one other team we'll get to, I think, that has a floor like that. But thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.